What's going on, guys? John Bliss here with the Wasatch Way, my co-host, Jeremy Ostman, the host with the most. He, to his left-hand side, is Andrew Mines with the Mountainside BBQ Cleaning.
Good evening.
We're ridiculously excited to have you here, sir. I'm just kind of focusing on a few other things here. Andrew Mines, Mountainside BBQ Cleaning. Let's switch over to this and show everybody who you are and where you're from. Serving the Heber City, Park City, and Salt Lake area. Phone number, email. You can always go to mountainsidebbqcleaning.com. All right, we are up and rolling. If you guys are here, say hi in the chat. Make sure that you share our streams. Help us grow. We're trying to make this a little bit of a larger streaming just so we can reach more people and bring out more. Like yesterday, we had the food pantry on. That was a really important episode for us to be able to share with the community how you can better benefit the actual community. So Andrew, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
I know that congratulations on the new baby.
Appreciate it.
We feel really privileged with you taking time away from the family to be here.
Nice to get out of the house.
So are you getting sleep?
For the most part, yeah. It's the first week obviously was pretty wild, but yeah, we're waking up I think now 2-3 times a night, which is still crazy, but much easier than what it was. And everyone says it gets easier. So
it does.
Fingers crossed.
It does. Once you start getting full night's sleep, it gets a lot easier. Yeah. And then they start talking.
and then they turn 18 and start dating. And then
and I got more worries. They start driving. And yeah, it's fun though. Having a kid is something I've wanted for a while. Here we are. Bennett is 6 weeks old now, and I couldn't imagine life without him already. So it's a good feeling.
That's incredible, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I was searching for a picture of you to use for that ad that we popped up there, and every picture you have your wife with you.
Yeah.
And that made my heart just melt. Like, you guys are incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. So Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get to the Heber Valley, and what was it like bringing your business here?
Okay, so I guess we'll start with, a lot of people are going to judge me, but hey, I'm originally from Southern California. My wife and I got married at Sundance back in 2019. We drove through Heber to Park City to where her parents have a home, and driving through Heber, I'm like, wow, this is a really cool town. We got to stop back by here eventually. And about a year or two later, we came back and just started looking at real estate for fun. And 6 months later in California, I just got tired of it. I got tired of the grind and everything about California other than the weather. I just said, we got to get out of here. And I'm willing to give up my business there to then restart it out here at whatever it takes. And of course, when you've got this vision, you've got some ups and downs in your head, but we moved here in July of 2022. So it's mostly in the middle of my summer season of barbecue cleaning. And I thought, you know what, hopefully I can knock quite a few out before winter, and which I did. Winter came and everyone said, Heber snow, it gets crazy, but not anything you can't handle. Winter of 22, 23, it was like, what? Like, what do you guys call crazy? And that was an eye opener. It definitely put me to kind of put me to a test of what could you handle and what couldn't you handle.
Right.
Being inside was something I wasn't used to doing. I was always used to, I was working 6 days a week in Southern California. Here, I was just trying to figure out something to do while it was snowing. I was shoveling snow on neighbors' porches just to do something. And everyone that I spoke to, whether it was family, friends from back home, they just said, dude, you're going to be okay. It will get better. And spring of the following year of 2023, the phone starts ringing. I started getting busier going into summer, and now I'm it's somewhat consistent. The one thing that really helped me was I joined the Chamber of Commerce the minute I moved here, just because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know anybody as far as business, but I also don't have any friends here. If I get anything from the Chamber of Commerce, whether it's friends or business perspective, that would be awesome. My wife's unloading boxes. I'm at Red Ledges at like a cocktail hour they had, meeting people the weekend we moved here. And after that, I started getting phone calls of, hey, let's meet up again. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's ribbon cuttings coming up. You want to go to that? I thought, yeah, let's do it. And it's wild how much, and nobody will understand it unless you actually go through it. But the small community of what Heber is, people talk, people care about one another.
Yeah.
It's incredible on how, you go to a small business that's doing a ribbon cutting and 30 people show up and you're like, oh, wow. Like the town really cares about these individuals and or this up and coming business. And that really helped out. People calling and checking in. Hey, how's business? What could we do to help you with business? And it's like, what? I'm not used to that. I'm used to the rat race of everybody just saying, hey, it's Monday through Friday. Don't call me until, Saturday morning. And then, back on Monday, we're busy again. We're here. It's like, I could literally call either one of you guys and just be like, hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Which is cool. And there's a handful of people in town that I can do that with. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I look back at 2022 winter and just think like, oh my God, I made it out alive. But now it's just like, I'm glad I went through that situation because it makes me appreciate these times now of, you know what, if I got hard times coming, I got people I can call. They'll walk me through it and remind me that, it's going to be okay.
Let's talk barbecue cleaning for a minute, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Why on earth did you choose barbecue cleaning?
So in 2009, in the community that we lived in Southern California called Ladera Ranch, my parents had our family home was there. And the barbecue that my parents had was a built-in.
Okay.
And my dad goes, this thing's starting to get disgusting. Most of it doesn't even work. I don't know what to do. And so we just went online, and a gentleman about 60 miles away said, I don't service your area, but I'm going to my in-laws' house this upcoming weekend. I'll tell you what, I'll leave early, clean your barbecue, and then I'll be on my way to their place. And I was off of work that day. At that time, I was working for Marriott Hotels, and I was actually pursuing hospitality school at that point. And I just remember looking in the backyard thinking, like, we live in Orange County. The weather's always beautiful. The disposable income is pretty high there. Why isn't there somebody? Why isn't there somebody out here that does this? Like, this is insane. So my parents and I started talking. My dad said, you know what, if you're up for it, I'll help you out. Let's get this rolling. And in August of 2010, I started the barbecue cleaning business there. And I was working the early shift at the hotel, and in the afternoon I'd run home, grab my work trailer and my truck, and I'd work until it got dark. I didn't really have a life from the age of 22 until, not long ago. And so after a while, I told the hotel thanks, but I found what I really love, and it was for working for myself. Fast forward to 2021, which was my last full year of living and working in California, and I was doing 600 invoices that year.
Yeah.
And so it caught up. There's things that living there, I wish I would have kind of done, and that would have been hiring somebody. But I was so into making sure it was done the way I wanted to. And the trust, I think I should have been a little bit more lenient with people of, they're there to get paid. Most of the time, people don't want to lose their job over a dumb mistake. So I ended up selling a portion of that business in 2022 when we moved here and started back up out here. Am I at 600 jobs out here? Definitely not. But I'm with my wife and our family, our extended family out here much more than I was in California. I was working Monday through Saturday. Sundays I'd be off and just tired. Really didn't want to do much. And like I said earlier, it's just the community. We love just going out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's it's a fun business. There's people out there that just say, I'll just buy new barbecue, beat it up in 5-10 years and throw it away and start over, which yes, there are those barbecues out there, the freestanding cheap barbecues. But majority of Park City, Red Ledges, even here in Heber, a lot of people have these built-ins that range anywhere from, they can go from $1,500 to $10,000.
Yeah.
And I've seen crazy things. I've seen rats, mice, snakes inside the bottom of grills. So it's health reasons why you should have your barbecue clean. And it's also an investment, keep up with it and it will last many years. And it's just, people just laugh. They're like, excuse me, what do you do for a living? It's like, I clean barbecues.
When I met you, you're like, I do Mountainside BBQ Cleaning. I'm like, what cleans their barbecues?
Yeah. So, just like you said, like I grew up, my dad would buy a grill. We would sometimes clean it and it would last us 4 or 5 years. The minute something stopped working, even if it was like a small thing, it was like, oh, time to get a new one.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to pass this on to John. John can use 3 burners. I'm going to buy a new one with 4.
Yep.
But
when I moved out here and you start upgrading to the nicer smokers and things like that. Like I've got a smoker that I wouldn't give up for the world. Like I love my smoker.
Yeah.
Thanks to this guy.
So
I
have people ask, or I've had people ask, everybody, it's like a grill, like in your house, it's seasoned. Isn't cooking a bunch of meat on it just kind of season it?
To an extent, it is. Like if you've got the traditional barbecue with the cooking grates, whether it's cast iron, stainless, those, the belief is like, oh, but it's seasoned. But at the same time, all that gunk and everything, all the soot on the bottom or in the hood, that all gets into your burners and everything. And then your burners are working at 50%.
Right.
You're going through propane or it's not lighting properly.
Or you started on fire 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. Or, I go to the house where they're clicking the starter button the minute I get there to show me the issue and the hood's closed, all the knobs are in high, and I'm like, whoa. That's not what you're doing. Like, you're going to be losing eyebrows here in a minute. But
that's funny.
That's why you have a smoker and not a conventional click.
Yeah. Those smokers can pop too.
Yeah.
So when the smoker starts, if there's too much pellets, the igniter rod's not coming out, it gets a really thick smoke. And people like record their phones. I've seen them a lot.
Wild.
And all of a sudden it goes, woof. It's like a big flame. That scared the hell out of me the first time it happened to me. But I wish my mom and dad were on here because I went up to their house and they said, well, we're going to cook a pizza on our smoker. I was like, perfect, put it up to 300, 325 is what I do on mine.
Mhm.
But my dad hadn't cleaned it in, probably years.
Ever.
Mhm.
And I cranked it up to 300 and all of a sudden like smoke is just billowing from it. I'm like, is that normal? No. Open it up and it's on fire. I felt like a National Lampoon's
Oh,
Family
yeah.
Vacation.
Yep.
We're like rushing, getting the plates out and turning it all off. And that was, it's important to clean it up, man. You
Yeah.
burn down the house that way.
Oh yeah, and I mean, in California near the beach, you're dealing with rust.
Oh, yeah.
The rodents out there, I feel like, are 10 times worse than here, and I would scream in people's backyards. I'm deathly afraid of rats and mice.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
fear factor, I would lose out. I'd be going home, and but yeah, I'd see that, but it's the vacation homes out here, the Airbnbs, where especially the Airbnbs, where it's just nightly rentals. People are just there to throw the meat on there. They're not going to clean it up
Yeah.
afterwards.
No, why
And
would
that's
I?
when it gets dangerous. Is that 6 months worth of Airbnb rentals, and then that sixth couple that go and start it. That's when you have the issues, and that's what I always like to tell people too. Is like, even if you don't want your grill clean, but it's acting funky or you're
Yeah.
smelling something odd, you can always feel free to give me a call. I love coming out, chatting with people on what to do with the grill, what not to do, how to keep your grill in perfect shape throughout the year. And at the end of the day, most important, we got to be safe.
Yeah.
For how much we all love to grill, smoke meat, and all that, I want to be able to enjoy that piece of meat at the end of the day and not end up in the hospital or my house is on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The years ago, right before summer, there was always an episode on, I think it was Dateline or 2020, and it was those bristle brushes.
Yeah.
People are using them,
Yep.
and they go down to the bare metal, and you don't realize that they're stuck on the grate because your stainless steel grate has a stainless steel bristle. You go flip the piece of meat, you digest that in your burger, your
That's
steak, and all
scary.
that, and
Yeah.
that can get scary. So it's like just maintenance on grills, whether you have me do it or I show you like little things to do, is important. But like I said, it's always safety. I don't want people to say, it costs too much, or we don't have the money to spend right now on somebody to come out and take care of this problem. Your problem is only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
It's going to compound.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
How often do you recommend cleaning a barbecue grill, like a good cleaning?
So like if you're using, which most people out here are, I'll tell you one thing, you guys aren't afraid to barbecue in the snow.
No, not at
No.
all.
And I'm starting to want to do that. But if people are barbecuing year round out here 2-3 times a week, I say once a year.
Okay.
If you're doing anything less than that, you could probably get away with 1.5 to 2 years. One thing I like to tell people is, I get the call of, hey, this barbecue's been sitting on the side of the house for 5 years covered. We're going to start using it. What should we do? Well, let's go through it, because again, there's probably something living in it. Your gas line, whether it's propane or natural gas, those can go
Probably
funky
brittle.
after a while. Exactly. And it's like whether you use it every day or hardly ever, a year to every 2 years, I always like to recommend people either get it checked out or do a full cleaning. And as far as people always wonder, like, do you just come over with a spray bottle and a paper towels? Like, I have an enclosed trailer with a dip tank in it. Everything goes in there. It's heated. Your cooking grades, flame tamers, and everything. And then I'm actually in the unit itself, making sure the burners are all unclogged. It's working properly, scrubbing the inside. Whole process takes anywhere from about 2.5, maybe 3 hours from start to finish. So I like to be as
I've watched
thorough
that.
as
It's
possible. And
You also do repairs, right? Like
correct.
Thanksgiving is coming up. Somebody wants to smoke their turkey and realize that it's not working right. You can go diagnose, find the parts, whether that's OEM or aftermarket, depending on what they want. And just,
Yes.
I love that.
And the one thing I like to tell people is, and it happens every year right before 4th of July, try not to call me on July 3rd. Call me the day before Thanksgiving because
Right.
I can't
Yeah.
make parts just randomly appear.
Randomly
And
appear.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
It's, check it out. If you know that your wife wants everybody coming over to your house for 4th of July or Thanksgiving and you're using the grill or smoker, call me a week or two before and I'll come out and we'll get that thing ready to go.
Or kind of like for my business, it's preventative maintenance.
Exactly.
Don't call when it gets cold. Let's get
Exactly.
you on the schedule maybe, a few weeks before
Exactly.
and get it taken care of.
Megan Bliss and Mike Gardner popped on to say hello.
Hello.
So before we move in, I'm going to switch back over to this just to show you guys. Andrew explains what he did. Mountainside BBQ Cleaning. There's the phone number, mountainsidebbqcleaning.com. And what I want to do also is I want to kind of go back into, let's make a more in-depth conversation. What is it like having a business in the Heber Valley? What works for you? And, what do you find works for you? What do you find doesn't work for you? As far as like getting business marketing, networking, things like that.
So what gets business for me is just being involved in the community.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, whether it's the chamber, being a part of their events, or just stopping by a local business and chatting with them. Whether you're there for lunch, you're there to get your car cleaned, for instance, whether you're at Swags or you want to go gun shopping and you're at OPSEC. It's just go in there, introduce yourself to another business owner, get chatting. Most of the time, you're probably going to have something in common with them.
Yeah.
And just be friendly in the community. Don't be afraid to go outside. And, Facebook, Instagram, and all that, those work great. But being face to face with somebody, you never know. You guys might have a mutual friend or, somebody, especially in a business like mine, somebody's like, wait, what? Like barbecue cleaning? Explain this to me. And, I could post before and after photos online all day, but until someone actually sees that, like, oh, okay, cool. You're like, this is where he was. This is where he is. This is how long he's been doing it. That usually helps out a lot.
24 years, yeah?
No, coming up on 16 years.
My math. I went to school in Idaho.
Yeah.
One potato, two
They
potato.
24 potato. But yeah, just being involved in a community like this where it's crazy, where my wife and I will either be at dinner or at the grocery store, and she works from home, so she kind of is inside all the time, and we'll be out and people will be like, oh, hey, what's up, Andrew, and this and that. And she's just like, how do you know them? How do you know this person and all that? And it's kind of cool. And people around town and even my in-laws, they always call me mayor.
Yeah.
Like if a business in town says, come watch paint dry on our wall, I'll be there. Just because I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll stop by.
I'll stop by.
Yeah. And so being involved in the community is huge in my belief. Things that I'm not big on necessarily, but it does work for others, is doing advertisements in like the newspaper or magazines. If that works great for you, awesome. Me personally, I get the magazine in the mail, I might skim through it, and then I'll end up losing it by the time I need that specific person. So that's when I would hop on Facebook. And then, like I said, in a community like this, you will get an answer within 5 minutes of, hey, anybody know a good person in this industry? Anybody know a good person doing this? And somebody or a dozen individuals will say, call this person and all that. So which is kind of cool, just because they're not going to refer somebody that does a terrible job.
Right.
So that makes a difference. But yeah, so it's just me personally, just being face to face in the community, no matter what it is, go out, introduce yourself.
Yeah, Jeremy and I've had this conversation quite a bit. Jeremy and I, we love to be able to go on and refer good people. And I mean, just like you, like people that we meet, people that we know, people that we trust, that the people of the community aren't going to get taken advantage of. We love being able to refer those people.
Yeah.
being business owners ourselves, Jeremy and I have talked quite a bit about, I was working for Jeremy when Jeremy went to this business development program. And it was pretty incredible to watch, like the big tools they wanted to hand down and how he wanted to grow and expand. And, he got really gung ho. And then there was like this moment that Jeremy kind of realized,
I was drinking from a fire hose. Dude, you would go out and it would be, we have this for you. And you'd come back and they would go, we want these 5 items done in the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, I'm running a business.
Yeah.
I don't have time to, a 90-day plan is important. I mean,
For
we're
sure.
learning that,
Yeah. And like I said,
but-
if it works for this person,
Yeah.
awesome. If that's what gets you to the next level, awesome. If it makes more sense for you to go this direction, even better. I guess it all depends on, the type of business you're in. If you're in the service industry, awesome. If you're, even if you've got a storefront on Main Street, being interactive with people is very important. But then, there are those individuals that, build off of, like you're saying, do these items.
But you got to kind of know what you want to do, right?
Exactly.
If you want to be a gigantic corporation that has 1 million employees and does a bunch of things, that's great. For me, I love being a mom and pop show.
Yeah.
I love that it's my wife and myself, and we take care of our customers to the best of our ability. We make these personalized friendships. I have a direct line. Like sometimes it's exhausting, but most times it really fills our cup.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having 37 employees and not doing the work that I love and doing, like, letting everybody else do the work that I love. Well, I do the administrative or behind the scenes stuff, right?
Well, and for me, that's what we do. I mean, that's what I like to do. Is I have a thumb on my customers. I know what's going on.
For sure.
It's not I'm sitting in an office and somebody's out there. And I think I tell a lot of people this all the time. I'm only as people I hire.
Yeah.
And train.
For sure.
So I think we talked about it a little bit. Would you rather have 1 or 2 headaches or 30?
Exactly. Lose sleep over 30 problems, or, at the end of the day, right now, working for myself, I'm my biggest problem, or my biggest headache, I should say, is, if I make a mistake, I can only blame myself. If I've got many employees, there's that much more to succeed and build off of. If each employee is making you this much money a day, awesome. And that's why, people, look at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like thousands of employees, and that's why he is where he is.
That guy's crazy.
But, it's taking that leap, whether you have 2 employees or 100 employees. That's the difference. I'm not saying you're not going to be successful with being self-employed or having a couple employees versus a ton, but it's just, where would you like, now that I have a child, most importantly to me is when he becomes of age, where he's got little league, soccer, whatever sport he decides, I want to make sure I'm there. Hey, I'm stuck at the office. I'm stuck with this issue at work and stuff like that, and make work so important that I forgot that, oh my God, my kid's 12 now. I remember when he was 6 weeks old.
You come home and he's leaving for prom and he's got the keys to the car and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, you drive?
I've got 2 kids and both of them have had a dramatically different experience with having me home growing up. Vivian, you're working $18 to $20 an hour jobs, trying to make it living here in Hebron. I was too stubborn to leave. And so Vivian really never saw me. Her mom was lucky enough she was sweet enough, kind enough, and
lucky
amazing and perfect. And I was lucky to have her because she would go to all the dance things and go to all the school things while I worked. And I'd come home and I'd be covered in grease and tired and want to go home and go to bed and didn't want to deal with anything. After doing what we do now, we both show up for things and her face lights up. But my youngest daughter has us home all the time and she's spoiled as shit now. She thinks that she's the boss of the house, but we're always there for her.
Oh, we know she's the boss of the house. That shouldn't be a question.
I'd say she wears the pants, but she hates wearing pants.
Takes after dad.
I wouldn't have it any other way. That's
well, and and kind of back to that a little bit is, with big companies, Like I said, I went to, I don't want to say, I guess, a mentoring.
Yeah.
Trying to learn how to set my business up because I'm not a business manager. I'll go in the field. I'm not an office guy.
Yeah.
But one of the things is what your definition of happiness is different than your definition of happiness and different than mine. I think we all kind of align because we are smaller business owners.
For sure.
But you look at people that are, I mean, I have a mentor in Salt Lake that runs a $16 million to $20 million HVAC company.
That's
And I'm like, is he happy? I think he's happy. I talked to him today and he was on the lower Provo fishing, so he must have been happy today.
He's
So,
doing all right.
but I think that is true. I see a lot of dads. I mean, I don't have kids, but you watch movies where the dad's on his phone and the kid's batting, and it's just like, yeah, talking. But
there's a lot of that. I've
seen more. I mean, John did work for me, and then when John started to, build his company, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm in Mountain America Expo Center, and I just about got in a fight with 5 people, but we've got a dance recital. I'll call you back.
That parking lot's wild.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I called him back later and says, do you need bail money?
For
Are
sure.
you okay?
Talking about this, the one person in town, and I always joke with him about I'm going to send him adoption papers because his son is going on his mission here early next year, but would be Rex over at Slacks.
Yeah.
I've never seen him upset, and
No.
he's got quite a few employees.
Yes.
And if there's something that involved an event that involved his family or a friend, or it's a car show and all of that, he is there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like he'll make sure that Skylar gets out on the lake early in the morning or in the afternoon to practice for a competition that's coming up.
Yeah.
But he'll also make sure that work is getting done at the shop.
Yep.
And all that. And he is probably one of the most easygoing people I've met. But at the same time, it's like I can call him up right now and say, Rex, I need this.
Yeah.
Do you have it? I do. I'll meet you at the shop in 10 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like, wow, okay, cool. And it's,
you get on that man's good side, you are his family.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it so
Oh, yeah.
much. He's such a good dude.
I mean, I need my Chevelle done for the car show. It's like a day before. And he said, bring it in.
Yeah.
We'll get it done.
100%.
We'll take care of it.
And it's just like there's somebody that has a business with quite a few employees, and every business, you get crazy days, you get slow days and stuff like that. But he is, it's crazy. He physically is in one place at once, but
mentally he's
all over it, and things can get done regardless where he is.
Yep.
So it's kind of neat. I look up to him as far as that goes, that he can stay so calm and have so much going on around him and be building a successful business like he is.
Mike Gardner just said, speaking of which, we still have Rex's wakeboard.
Well,
way to go, Mike. Spill beans.
He won't need it for a couple months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to, when I first started my business and I was in that BNI networking group, there were 5 guys that would go down and surf.
Yeah.
And they all had boats, but we were surfing in April.
Yeah, see, that's wild.
And I went out and they have I have a dry suit.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the dry suit, but that was kind of cool. For me, it was, I'd go surf, get cold, then I want to go home and go back to bed.
Well, exactly.
But just, I mean, the camaraderie, I mean, I don't want to say I really can't remember when we met. I want to say it was probably when the Home Expo was going on. It might have been a little bit before that.
I think a little bit before, yeah.
But we did, me and, I can't remember, it's Justin. Justin that owns the hardware store on the north end of town.
Great guy.
We gave away a smoker.
Yep.
And
the barbecue
what do you
guy.
know?
The barbecue guy
won the smoker.
I love that.
My wife was out of town that weekend for business, and I was all excited about the expo, and I went to the grocery store, bought a bunch of canned food, and I was literally there all day.
You were.
And then I had to go home and feed the dog in the afternoon, and I think it was like 5:30 right before it ended. You guys were going to do the drawing, and I go, I went home and I'm on the phone with my wife, and I just remember being like, something's telling me I just want to go back. Like, I just want to see who's going to win this thing. And I go back, and sure enough, Adam
Mose.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was there, and you had him pull the name out. And I thought he was joking. He calls my name. I'm like, no way. And sure enough,
He goes, yep, it was. Here goes Andrew Mines. Here's the ticket. It's like,
and I remember the weather was kind of getting a little. It was either raining or we're getting like a snow that night, and I hardly knew any of my neighbors. And I go, how do I get this thing out of the bed of my truck? And like it was later at night. I'm like, I'm not going to call anybody, and I don't know how, but I was able to get that
wrestle it out of the truck.
Yeah, and we use it to this day, and it's that was fun.
So we're hoping we've been a member. We've done the was it the second year? This will be our third year.
This will be our third year. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't able to make it this last year. We were on a cruise with some friends.
Hey, can't beat that.
So, but great time. And then I think I haven't gone to concert in the park, but I'm sure a concert in the park thing. When you were talking about you go to the grocery store and people recognize you. My dad delivered mail in Heber for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And still, or does bail bonds, and my stepmom will be with him at the grocery store, and some gal that he bailed out will run up and give him a hug, and she's like, who's that?
Or I tell my wife, hey, I'm running to the store real quick. I'll be right back. And an hour later, I'm walking through the door, and she's just like, I'm not even going to ask where else you went. I just know you probably ran into somebody at the store and you got chatting.
And that's how it was growing up. You go to the store, and 3 hours later, mom would be like, dude, we needed those beans 3 hours ago. How many people did you run into? So
absolutely.
There's an awkward pause. Sorry.
The other aspect of it is not every business succeeds, which sucks.
Yes.
You reach it to a certain point, and the economy is always up and down. And COVID was really tough on a lot of businesses.
I bet.
And it makes it begs the question is, if you couldn't do barbecue cleaning, if something else happened, like how to feed your family, pay the bills, like what if, like, what do you do? What are you willing to do? Like, are you willing to, for me, I hate folding laundry. Laundry is like the bane of my existence, but if I had to feed my family, I'd do it. And that's such a first world problem, right? But we get what's your take on that?
We've talked about it a little bit, and I said, I probably wouldn't go to McDonald's. I was a maintenance manager at McDonald's, and it was like, oh, this sucks. But I should say I've kind of been in this.
Yeah.
We lived in Rifle, Colorado, and my wife was working in an HVAC office, and I was a lead in the field in the 2008 crash hit.
Oh, yeah.
And she lost her job. She called me just in tears. She goes, I just got let go. And I'm like, what? And, we had a contract in a subdivision for 5,000 homes, and that contract stopped.
Oh.
And so we're in Rifle, Colorado. All of our family's here.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have kids, or we don't have kids. So we were making money hand over fist.
For sure.
And a few weeks later, I lost my job.
Oh.
We bought a single wide trailer. We didn't need anything huge, nice. It was just two of us. And we had Harleys and stuff like that. And I called at the time, it was my brother-in-law, and said, we got to move home. I don't know what to do. We don't have any money. I've got two Harleys, 2 cars. How am I going to get this stuff home? We got a camp trailer.
Yeah.
It was a toy hauler. Mm-hmm. So my brother-in-law drove his truck down with my mother-in-law, picked my mother-in-law up, drove to Rifle, picked us up. We lived in my wife's grandparents' house for a year. She got on luckily with a medical, a pediatrics doctor here that she'd worked for before. I got on at Home Depot part-time.
Cool.
And I worked at Home Depot. I shouldn't say part-time. It was kind of full-time summer help.
Mm-hmm.
But I got on at Home Depot, and I was working 4 or 5 days a week. And then I was working at 7-Eleven. Well, it was Walker's then. At 7-Eleven now. I was working graveyards 3 or 4 nights a week. So I would leave Walker's in the morning at 7, go to Home Depot and work, go back, sleep for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And come back and work.
I mean,
it sucked.
But that point, it probably showed you what you were capable of doing. A
Yep.
little amount of sleep.
Yep.
What at that point you're kind of thinking, hey, I got to put food on the table for my
Yep.
wife and I got to have a roof over
Yeah.
our head.
I mean,
I got to do something.
We were lucky enough to have grandma and grandpa's house that
Correct.
they had passed on. And so that was a little easier. But, you know, even then we were living in grandma and grandpa's house and the farm was behind us. I was feeding cows almost every night for my father-in-law because I was just like, I got to do something. I just
for
can't sit here. I was coming down from Francis, coming down off the hill, and I was headed to Walker's to work, and the front tire of my Jeep came off.
Oh.
Dropped down on the ground, you know, got it stopped and stuff like that. But, you know, I look at it and, you know, I think I know enough, you know, jack of all trades, master of maybe one or two, maybe none.
We're hoping at least one.
At least one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. But I mean, I could cut wood, you know, I mean, there's always people that
For
need
sure.
wood.
And
But
I think that's the thing is that I always question is when people say, I can't make money, I don't know what to do. And the opportunities are out there. You just got to think of it. Like, what is something that you cannot stand doing? Somebody else out there also hates it just as much as you, or even more, and they're willing to pay somebody to do that. So if you're getting $20 an hour and you're at a low point in your life, or $15 an hour, and you got to make ends meet, the bills are still coming in.
Yep.
You hate doing that by yourself and you're not getting paid to do it, whether, you know, it's laundry or, you know, washing windows or doing whatever.
Shoveling snow.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, that's.
And I learned to like that real quick when I moved here. I had to. But it's just, there's so many opportunities out there that it's, you know, it's, if you want to make some extra money, or if that's going to be your main source of income before something else comes along, go walk into a bunch of businesses and say, hey, can I mop your floor? You know, I would do that, and I'm no better than the next guy as far as stuff like that goes. As long as it doesn't include heights, as far as
picking up mice.
or picking up rats or mice. I'm not getting on your roof because I'm the first guy that will look down and see how high I am.
Yeah.
But I think when people question of like, hey, I want to make extra money, but I'm at this standard. I mean, how bad do you want to make that money?
Yeah.
And I think a little different now in that situation, now that I do have a child.
Yep.
It changes me.
It changes huge because like right now, literally, I guess if I had to, I would pick up or deal with rats and mice if it came down to it. But other than that, there's really nothing I wouldn't do as far as a job to make extra cash and, you know, make sure the bills, the food, the home we live in still flow.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about living in the community here, though. There's plenty of opportunities, and there's plenty of money to be made if you can get out there and get after
For
it.
sure.
You're not going to make a lot of money sitting from the couch.
And especially, I mean, if you have an idea, I mean,
there's a million people out here that can help you develop.
Call John, call me, call you, call Rec, call somebody and say, hey, I got an idea.
Yeah.
I might need a little starting capital. I mean, it was a little different for me. I just started.
Yeah.
I was working for somebody and started doing it on the side. And then eventually my wife, being as smart as she is, says, why don't you start your own company? You're driving to Salt Lake every day and you're coming back doing 4 hours at night.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any way in the world.
If I could, there's more people out there than I could count on both hands that were back in California when I told them, hey, I'm going to start this barbecue cleaning business. And they laughed and said, good luck. What's going to be your next thing you're going to do if that doesn't work out? And in the in the first 10 months or so, when it was like kind of rocky, I'm like, no, you know what? Those people that were doubting me, no, they're not winning on this one. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to work that much harder. And then sure enough, it was just like, there was a point where I was making more money and I had more freedom than some of my friends that went to college for 4 years,
Yeah.
had
Yes.
debt to pay back, and got into a career that they can't stand to
Yep.
this day. And um,
And they're stuck.
and they're stuck. Yeah, they're stuck in the location that they live. Where I was fortunate enough to be able to, set the business aside and say, what's more important, staying here and not being as happy as my wife and I could be, or moving elsewhere and doing the things we love.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're only here once, in my opinion, and I'm not going to let a job or a location affect me.
Yeah.
So to say, if you guys ever get a chance and I'm not around, ask Anna how many jobs I had the first year we were married.
Yeah.
There's not enough
Bet.
fingers and toes on my kids. and if she's listening, she'll attest to that, because I did everything. I'd work, but I had friends. I got married a little bit later. I had friends that were, while I was working, they were out playing, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
It sucked. I was working and I didn't want to work. I'll bet 30, 40 jobs probably would be low count. But I started working for Standard Plumbing Supply, and I was making $8.50 an hour.
Wow.
That's wild
20 some
to
odd
think
years
about.
ago.
Yeah.
And
That's wild to think
the
about.
manager said, you learn how to run the counter by yourself and give you a 50-cent raise. I was like, really?
Wow.
So I learned the counter. As soon as you can work a Saturday by yourself, I'll give you a 50-cent raise. As soon as you can do this, as soon as you can work a day without me being here, I'll give you $1. And I went from $8.50 an hour to about maybe 12 or 13. And I thought I was like living high on the hog.
For sure.
And then when I'd been there 11 months, and the vice president company asked me to apply for a management position in Colorado, and I about died. I was like, me? Went from $13.50 to $20 an hour and managed a store, opened another store. And I think that's when it kind of sparked my entrepreneurial
Yeah.
spirit, kind of, and said, hey, if I work hard, people are going to pay me better.
For sure.
And stuff. So
And whether you're in high school, whether you're 40 years old, whether you're 60
you
years
can
old, or
say
whatever.
50 as long as you're 50.
Yeah, if you're old. But like the one thing that I'm thankful that I did, that I wish more people would, is take the chance if you're able to. I understand people, they're like, dude, I got 4 kids. I still need to put food on the table, this and that. It's not as easy as when you did it at the age 22 and I was living at home. And I thank my parents for, helping me through those first couple of years significantly. And, but don't let your career, what you do for a living, affect you, because, you might have an idea, roll with it. Even if you're doing it on the weekends or doing it after hours during the week, try it out. Who knows? If I didn't do barbecue cleaning or started doing that in 2010, I might be a general manager of a resort, maybe in Park City or in Southern California and stuff like that, but hotels don't close. Yeah. So I'd be miserable.
What would your family life be?
Yeah, exactly. My family life would probably be a little bit different. So it's, if you have an idea or you want, like, you're on the fence of taking that chance, if you're able to, do it. Try it out for a little while. If it doesn't work out, either try it again, or, at least you could say, I tried.
Yeah. That'd be a good episode. We ought to get Rex and a few of us in here and do a Heber City Shark Tank.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm qualified.
So
what would $20 do?
Yeah, you need how much?
Yeah.
Well, so it was pretty funny when I was at the high school job fair they had last year. This kid walked up and he's like, "You suck." I was like, "All right, wait, okay, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You bought my business." I was like, "I own heating and air. What do you mean I bought my business?" He was talking about SuperCan.
Oh, that's awesome.
He had gone to they have a kind of a Shark Tank type thing for the high school and stuff
Right.
like that for kids to pitch ideas. And I guess he had pitched the idea and was trying to get funding, and then we bought SuperCan. And he was all bummed out that we bought SuperCan. And I think I called and complained to you, and he's like, Jeremy, you know, competition's good and stuff. So, but
Absolutely.
but
That's a great business by itself.
it
Because
is
like I didn't grow up with a trash can in the garage where I learned here in the winter, like I'm not going
It
to pull my
sucks.
trash can through snow
Yeah.
from the side of the house. And having a super can come out and clean our trash can, like I wouldn't be afraid to like eat food off of it
Yeah.
after you guys
Oh.
come through and clean it. Like, and our garage smells completely different.
Yeah.
When she signed up with Andrew,
Mhm.
when Weber's owned it, she's like, I'm gonna have her trash can clean. I says, you what? I went, no.
My wife surprised me.
And
Yeah.
then the first time they cleaned it and I went outside and whiffed the can up, I was like, I mean, I literally stuck my head down on the can. I was like, that smells pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But I mean, and backtrack a little bit, you talked about family life. That was why Andrew sold SuperCan.
Yeah.
Because he was working his normal job. His wife was running kids around. He was coming back at lunchtime, washing a few trash cans. But he says it was great when the kids were young, but now the kids are older and
For sure,
piano
yeah.
and soccer and baseball and this and this. And I've talked to him a few times and I said, do you miss it? A few times he's like, yeah, I kind of miss it. And other times he's like, no, not really. I've told him I'd come spray some of that Fabuloso on that lavender on his porch if he
There you
missed
go.
that smell.
For sure.
I
But,
walks out and just smells it. Trash can.
But yeah, SuperCan's been really good for Anna.
That's
And
awesome.
there will be some new things coming down the pipe.
Absolutely.
She'll have we're gonna have a truck that
I'm
we're
excited
gonna put
for
all
that.
of her equipment on, and she's hoping to open Park City up. But that's something that 5 years ago she'd have never done. I sent her on that Hawaii, her Infinite Worth trip for women,
Mhm.
and it opened her up.
That's cool.
I just think they need to slow down on the little bit of women's empowerment. You know, it's getting a little bit more than, you know,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, the community's great. You're great.
Thank you.
You're great.
Thanks, man.
I'm okay.
Ish.
Ish.
If you guys get the opportunity, go over to Osman's Heating and Air's Facebook or Instagram page. Last night we had the food bank on, and Noelle brought up the story about Jeremy giving this kid a bike after it had been burned down. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted that photo on your page for you,
Yeah.
so everybody else can see the story. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Jeremy does this stuff all the time. He's always doing these small things that make big impacts in the community,
For sure.
and he doesn't toot his own horn, so I have to
No.
toot it for him because people need to know, like,
Yeah.
he does incredible things for a lot of people.
Well, and I think for me, what it goes back to is we don't have kids. So, I mean, I have like 25, 26 nieces and nephews on one side and only like 6 or 7 on the other side. But, you know, when we see people in the community, kids, they're kind of like our kids.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I mean, I would say that's why we do it, but we give back. Growing up, I saw a lot of companies give back to, you know, us and stuff like that.
There's a long ways.
We appreciate it. I mean, is the community's good to us, we'll be as good back as the community to the community.
I love that. I'm going to roll into a sponsor really quick. We want to say thank you guys very much to No Bull Drain Cleaning. Phone numbers right there at the bottom. I'm trying to pull up my notes
Jesse
here.
and Matt Fager do an excellent job. I've used them several times. I used them here. We just moved in. My wife flushes the toilet and it just stays there. It's like, we got a problem. Matt came out, sent the choppers down, and we've not had a problem since.
So why choose No Bull Drain Cleaning? They offer over-the-phone pricing, quality service, no hidden extra fees for after-hours work or holidays. Experience the difference of service from people grateful for your business. There's your phone number, 435-395-9521. Pop back over here, and we're back. Thank you guys to No Bull for sponsoring this episode. We sure appreciate it. We are taking sponsors. If you guys would like any information about it, I'm putting our contact on the bottom of the screen now. If anybody out there's got any questions, Dustin Finderly, check out that handsome barbecue guy, he says.
Where?
Yeah.
There's a barbecue. Somebody put a barbecue in here.
All right.
If we all looked as good as
that
Mayor
guy.
Mines, dude, we'd be
Mayor
set.
Mines.
Hey, I made sure I got my front tooth fixed for tonight.
Great. I
I
don't
was
want
at the dentist this morning, and
Mm.
they got me back to looking somewhat
Boy,
decent.
my wife is going to give me heck when I get home
All right.
because I
This
still don't have mine fixed.
Builds character.
sorry to keep popping back and forth. This battery's about to die,
Is it?
which is crazy because it's plugged in.
Do we need to throw this one up?
I don't know. So if everybody's streaming with us, hold on one second, because if I unplug this, I'm wondering, will you watch this? Tell me again.
We screwed you up. Uh-oh.
That's all right. Let's just plug it back in and we'll finish out the stream. We'll just
Oh,
do
that's
it.
because it's not hooked to the computer, is it? Technical difficulties. He also said, check out that chin. Is there something with the chin? You and Dustin have something with the chin going on?